everybody, welcome to my channel. This is Joy and I'm with JJ with Joy. I want to show you today at least 35, maybe a few more ideas of what to do with book pages. You always have and these are all things that can be used inside of a junk journal or with a junk journal. There's many ways to do things, but these were just some of the few that I came up with. Of course, there is a very simple journal page that can be a pocket. This is so simple. It's just taking a page, folding it up, folding the two sides together, and when you have this side, then tuck it in. And mine was just a little too long, so I cut it off. Add a little glue right here on the end, and you are good to go. You got one pocket, two pocket, three pocket, four. If you paste it down, you'll have a fifth pocket. You can decorate them. This is the way I had done that with one of them. And I just used plain paper to fill in the blank. So as these pull out, you know, I did a little sewing, and each one of them has a little page to write on. That is just a cute idea. I added some flowers there. And here was another one of the same things that I did with kind of a garage type theme for maybe a man's journal. And you can journal on the back of these. They're pull out, you know, all the little things pull out. So different little pockets. That's a good way to use up some book pages. Now with this one, I left one plain and I used one and decorated it a little bit more. But simple pocket, you just fold over, and then put a tag of whatever you like in it. Don't forget, if you're making something that has a pocket, you need to put something in it. So that's always my issue. That it just makes more work for you, but it does look a whole lot prettier. That can be just a simple pocket. This is just a book page, folded up, folded over. Simple. Now, decoupage. Let me get this page out. Decoupage on a napkin is very easy to do. There's two ways that, well, there's three ways, I guess, that you can do this. I like to use just a bottle of watered down glue, and I usually, the way I do it is I will have like about this much. Well, I just start with however much. You just kind of got to get a consistency. So maybe like this much of the glue, and then I add a little water, and then if I don't like it, you know, I add more. This time I filled up to, I think, about here, and then I filled it up with water. Leave enough room that you can get more water if you need it. I shook it up. I added a little bit of distress ink. That was walnut color in that one. The way I like to do that is lay it down and just paint it on, or use your silicone brush to get it on there. Then you put the napkin down. Be very careful with your placement. And then I like to use the same thing to go over the top of it. Now, I do not like to use Mod Podge because it leaves a sticky film, and it does need a sealer on top of it to get rid of the sticky. So it's just more work. But this one, all I did, you can use a glue stick to get it down. You can use, they have a method where you would use the book page and then plastic wrap and then iron it on. So you can look those up to see how they do that. But you can just fold these any way you want. You know, if you want the pretty to hang out, then, you know, figure out how you want to fold it. But here are some that I have done and made into, this is just a pocket, remember? So you do have to add a bunch of, you know, you have to add something in there. You can make any size of a pocket, which is the good thing about using book pages. The bigger the book page, and don't be afraid to turn your words sideways or upside down. The point is not to be reading it, so I don't like it usually the same direction. I like to turn it upside down or sideways so the words aren't really readable. And I just used a little decorative scissors to cut this before I began. And you can make yourself a little pocket template if you would like to do that. And then, you know, you can also decoupage some decoupage napkin onto pages on both sides, and then sew it down. There's so many things you can do. You can use your just decorate it however you like. I left it plain so we can see what we did, but you could use some self-adhesive dots to glue those down. You can find those in my shop. Those are found at Etsy. JJ with Joy is my name of my shop. This was very simple. As you can see, all I did was fold these pages together and then fold this up, and then I'll eventually glue a little glue spot there. Fold it over. You can make a little mini book with a couple pockets on it. That's a pretty cool little idea. That's what I did with this one here with the same idea. I used the birds, got a page here, you know, a little pocket, and then I made the inside. I had a little cracked egg, so I thought, well, I'll use that, and I had this page. I'm thinking I'm going to go in and add a couple, 3 pages inside, sew it in like a signature. Signature is where you make a little book and you're sewing it together, and it's like one little book inside of the folder, and then the back side. So there's so many ideas that you can use. This was another folding idea here. All I did was fold it down, fold it up, use that blank edge, use some distress on it, and you know, you can decorate this side, use that as a tuck pocket, and decorate that side. Now this is some of that wide washi tape. This would be pasted down to your journal, and so I didn't care that it went over, but I made it the same height. That way I didn't have to do any decorating. Sometimes people like to leave things simple and plain, and that's just a really cool way of doing it. Simple, simple. This one, on the other hand, I did the same kind of technique. I folded it down. It actually has a little pocket here and a bigger pocket here that's deeper. So this one only goes from here to here, but the back pocket goes from there to there. And I went with the woodland type theme and found a book page that had that on it. That folded up, folded over to support that a little bit. There's also a pocket up here. So it's like 1, 2 or 3. I don't remember how many book pages I actually used on that. This is a simple little idea. You get 2 pieces of book page about the same size. You cut one down just enough to get an edge off of it. And then the inside piece, all you do, this was this same size piece of paper, and I just cut the edge off, fold this up, pull this down, voila, you got 1 pocket, 2 pocket, and you potentially a 3rd pocket. That's just by using the whole book page. You can decorate it and decoupage as you wish. Now, I use this as a simple little envelope. Very simple. It just folds up, and let's see if I can get it so I can show you here. I was just playing around and I made it a little bit. It was a square piece of paper to start with. I went in leaving it kind of angled, brought this I did last. I brought it up like that, saw that I had kind of a odd shape envelope. Put that down. You would tuck that down over those 2 pieces there and glue it, is what you would do. And then fold that over, add a little ribbon or whatever, and you got another little piece. Now this one was given to me, and I thought this was really cute. This is what kind of started me on it. 2 very thin pieces of dictionary page book pages. We got a million of them, you know. When we're using the covers as something, then we just keep going. They just used washi tape, and then put a little thing on there. That's how they sent me some charms. You know, if you're going to send something like stamps or charms or you know, anything that's small like that. Great little pocket there. This one here, I decoupaged on it. You can see the shimmery shine to it. That's what your watered down glue will do. But it's not sticky at all. And if it, you know, so this is, I've used those self-adhesive dots that you can get in my shop. You can add some ephemera in here to send to someone, whatever you want. Now I ended up dyeing this a different color. I didn't like the color of it, and I just thought it was cute. Sew down the edges. You can sew across. You can use a lot of sewing or a little bit of sewing. And again, this last one here, I put parchment paper that had been coffee dyed on the inside, and I sewed the top of this so that it kind of has an automatic flip-flop. It kind of stays down, so you didn't need to have any, you know, self-adhesive dots or anything. Added a thing on there, another little place to put some ephemera to send off. This one here is a cereal box innard package, the plastic package on the inside. It's a little tricky in the sewing machine, I'm not going to lie. You do have to be very vigilant about how you're placing it and holding it and stuff. But again, I put the little adhesive dot. This is the way I used my book page. There's a book page underneath here. I took a magazine page and just stuck it there. Those butterflies you get from Dollar Tree. And then I just stuffed some random papers in there. It's a good way to send off something, you know, in the mail. Ephemera of some sort, whatever you have. I did make a feather. Now the way I did this was I simply used a feather. You know, you get those cheap feathers that don't look very pretty. I used that feather and I cut off the stem of it so I could have a real stem. And then I doubled and made a, looked at another feather to get the kind of shape of a feather. And then I just went zigzag, zigzag, cut, cut, cut. And then I made sure, because you know, there is some separation in feathers. So I just made a few of those little indentations. This was a fun thing to do. All I did was use some wire to get under here, and then use the, you know, the wire, I don't know what this stuff is called. Sorry guys, you know what it's called. But I watercolored on these, and you know, you can fold them up so they kind of look more realistic if you're using it on a cover, but if you're using it in the book, it's going to go flat anyway, and you can just get that in your page. Now, you always have the extra scraps from your books, and you don't know what to do with those. You usually rip them off, throw them away. I like to use a metal ruler, and you know, you just use the metal ruler, put it down and rip it up, and it gives you this nice edge. I did end up using the watered down distress glue on this one, and I'm just using a regular PVA glue. So you know, something like Elmer's glue or something, cheap glue, 25-cent glue. And then I put it down, I put the pieces on top, you know, I layered them out, and I made sure that they were variegated. And then I used the distress crayons from Ranger, Tim Holtz's distress crayons. And, oh, excuse me, first of all, I used the glue again over the top. Now, if you use distress crayons, then they smear really well into a nice smooth smear if you use the watered down glue as a finish over the top of it before you begin. If you don't, you're going to have streaks that, like, here is the marker. You can see where the crayon marked exactly. You don't want that. So that's all I did to this. I just used distress crayons and went around it like so. Got this. I scanned this in. If you'd like to join my Facebook group, it's called also JJ with Joy. Anybody that is a junk journal is welcome, and this is a freebie in there. What I did after I got done with this was I made a copy of it, and then I have a stamp that stamps out kind of wood look. So I went through, and this one is also a freebie in my group. Some other ideas. You always have your die cuts where you have cut out something, and you can use your book page for these. This could make a cute little dangle, putting a hole in it. It didn't matter which way it flipped. That's a wonderful use of book pages. I absolutely loved this one. This was a die cut I cut out. I made a book page to put over it, put that, you know, put the picture under it, and then put the green around it, just cardstock, and did the back of it. It's just a beautiful way to use up book pages there as well. Numbers, you know, I love to punch out the numbers, and I just, you know, single number, double number, whatever. If you like to use paint, this is another option. I used just a roller, you know, one of the rollers, and I just painted these pages. I had some string on it that I painted over, and I pulled it up. You can make these into pockets or whatever you like. They're cute. You can have any color you want that way. Make it match your item. Now this little scrap cluster here is a simple, easy thing to do. I just took several pieces of the book page, put it together, put a word on it, sewed down, sewed another piece of paper right across the top. That's a cute little element to add to your journals as well. This I made yesterday. I thought it was really pretty. I hand drew this suitcase thing. I saw a picture somewhere, and then I decided I was going to do that. I'm just using one of these file folder holders. Now this could be good for a file folder if you wanted to utilize it like that, I thought I would put it in a travel journal at some point and make it flip. It's just book page on top of cardstock on top of book page, and then I did the whole distress thing just like I did before using the watered down glue. And I have buttons that are handmade. I added a little glitter shimmer to them, and just a little bit of everything. You know, it's a lot of fun to make your own handmade buttons. These were so easy, and I did not use, I have in the past, but I just feel like it's breaking my punch when I use the 1 inch or the 3/4 inch punch. So I just cut out a piece of cardboard, cut around it. It gives it a unique, not perfect look. Then I used a book page to cover it, glued it down, and then I turned it over, book page to cover it again, and then I distressed around it and used the glue on top of it. And then again, I just sewed those onto the page, easy peasy. You can make labels, add a word in here, you know, use your distress die. You can use frames, which are so easy to use. This I took and added, this is just a stamp. I just sewed it onto a piece of paper, book page paper, simple. Another simple result here is just taking a sticker. I put this through my Xyron machine and made a sticker, and I will use this as a base to decorate. I was just trying to see what this color, I bought a new color, and boy, that looks blue, but that is turquoise, as turquoise can be on my page. But anyway, I was trying to see what the color was, and so instead of just throwing it away, I thought I've used the paint. I used metallic marker and I got the high on there, and then I used that gold foil stuff. Simple, easy. Here is a button flower, and all I did was use a 1 inch punch. And I'm not going to tell you this was easy, because you have to be pretty precise in your little folds. You fold these two sides up, so forth, and then you lay them on. Now I put them on a piece of paper to glue them on, and then I glued the button on top, and I did add a string in it so it didn't look so out of place. Here is a paper clip, altered paper clip, very pretty, simple, many ideas with book page stuff. Here again is another one, and I'm using this book page as just a layering technique. It's also an altered paper clip, very simple. This one was given to me in a trade, but I thought it was pretty. She had used book page as the base. It feels like there's a little piece of cardboard underneath, or not cardboard, but cardstock underneath, and then she just, you know, dolled it up with her decorations. Very pretty. Now, this is a very simple thing to do. If you have, you can take easy peasy masking tape, or not masking tape, Scotch tape type stuff. And then this is waterproof tape here. Let me put that down. I glue them on when I'm finished, but you just put it on the page, rip it up. Simple, very, very simple. Now, you may want to include in your journal a pencil. So I put journal with me, and I just wrapped that around a pencil, and it was such a cute idea. I really liked that idea. I did make some matchbook covers. These were fun to do. You can make your own, any size. I did use just a napkin over a book page. These fold up. Then you have whatever papers you want to add inside. I usually try to put something that matches the front, you know, and then parchment paper on the inside. That flips down inside. Now, some people do these wrong, where they make the matchbook and they attach it to the top. That is not the way a matchbook truly looks. They can certainly do it that way, but these are what they look like ahead of time. And I did have this one here that I left so you could see what it looks like in the bear. So I did the distress, or the napkin decoupage on that side, left this side open. When you fold it up and fold it down, you want to make sure, can you see there how much space there is? You got to leave room for your little tiny tot stapler. And then you want to make your pages. So I made random pages that I can't get apart, but anyway, those just flip down in here, and you want to make sure that they are centered kind of, and then on the bottom, give it a little tap before you staple down here, so you have room to tuck up here. You know, you got to look at your size, so you want to make sure that the staple is below this part there. Okay, and then I added a word to this one. I don't know, I got kind of crazy. Once you get on something, you just kind of keep going with it. Here's another dangle I had made using, all I did was take a book page, wrap it around a paper clip, and then I took a button, and some of them I wrapped fabric, some of them I wrapped just some string, Aunt Lydia type string. I added a charm, added a button on a string, or a, you know, whatever you call that thing, and then add a little bulb pin. That's a very simple way of dolling up your project as well. Now I used a glassine bag here and just used a layering technique, and that's the best way. I love layering, so anything that I have with a layering, I love the crunch sound of that. Makes it so good. Another layering here, just have a little peekaboo through there, so the back is definitely that. Here's another different layering, you know, so you're just using it on the inside. You just need a little bit. You don't need a lot, but it still looks good. And don't laugh at this one, but in my group, I did have quite the laugh on this. I was trying to sew this lady, and that lady was beautiful. And she is so ugly there, but hey, I'm going to use it someday in a journal. But I used the book page underneath it, layered it up with fabric, did my little hand sewing stuff on top, and there you go. This is another, oops, pardon me. Here's another idea where you take a playing card, just a regular playing card. You glue parts of a book page on, rip it off, and then you add your stamp. And I would use Stays On stamp or an archival stamp, either one, to get that. And that turned out really cool. There's always watercoloring you can do on a page. You know, if you're a watercolor or a painter, the watercolor shines right through so you can see the book page behind it. It's beautiful. And the last things that I have are more, these are my first dangles I ever made, and I used, let me show you what I used. Wait a minute. Yeah. I made my own paper beads, okay? You take these, you take like something very small, thin. Now I have, you know, a thin awl, and I wrapped the book page up on it, twirled it around until I got to the end. You do want to cut it kind of at an angle. You want to kind of go, depending how the fattest end of it is, how big your angle will be. Make sure to catch the book page part of it. And then I inked it up before I began. And then as you roll it, you can see how they turn out when they're finished rolled, you know. So I made a few of those little dangles there. And then, you know, these little pendants, you have a lot of jewelry sometimes that have broken stuff out of it. I just replaced it with that. I hope you liked what I've shown you today. If you do, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more from me, and ring the bell to make sure you're subscribed, or that you're notified. So thanks for joining me today. Remember, your day is full of choices, so choose joy. Have a great day.